What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Book Binge on the King Crusoe YouTube channel. This is episode 15, and this week we are covering Endurance, Shackleton's Incredible Voyage by Alfred Lansing. This is one that probably relatively few of you have ever heard of. It is a non-fiction book, a biographical telling of a time that Sir Ernest Shackleton, did a voyage down to Antarctica, trying to sail through, and the tale that commenced in that regard. It was based on many personal interviews with everybody who was on the voyage, as well as diaries and stuff like that. So although there is, I believe, a book called Endurance by Shackleton himself, this is, I think, probably the more well-known version of the tale. I may be wrong in that, but this is the one that I read nonetheless. I read this in starting in late November of 2021, but finished it in December of 2021, so it's been a little bit since I read it, but I do remember my feelings about it well enough. All of my reviews are unscripted on the Book Binge, but every single review up to this point I've had notes on my computer to kind of go off of so that I knew some things that I would reference and some things that I would talk about and some points that I would make in the review. But this time is the first time that I'm actually going without even notes. I just didn't have time to take notes for this review. I've been trying to make time to take notes for this review for literally weeks before trying to record it, but I just didn't manage to get the time to be able to do it. So I'm going completely off the top of the dome here, so sorry if this is a little bit rough around the edges, or sorry if it's even a little bit shorter because I don't have set things that I want to talk about. But a couple of the points that I will make is that I actually very much enjoyed this book a lot more than I thought. Probably the greatest point in this book's favor is the fact that really for a very, I wouldn't say necessarily for most of the book, but for a significant portion of it, nothing really happens, but I found myself very much loving to read on every single page. Like, for some reason the pages go by much faster than you think that they would. It doesn't really make much sense, but every single word feels important in some way, I guess. Nothing feels wasted. This doesn't feel like there's any filler in it, even though for a fair portion of the book, like I said, there isn't really much happening. But it's really just that the vibe of the book is very good. Just the setting, the writing itself in a lot of ways, kind of the interactions between a couple of the people, all these little things, the technical bits of the writing are what's enjoyable to read, even though is not really much action or anything like that. The probably final third of the book has a lot more happening, and you find yourself to be a lot tense, or a lot tenser, find yourself to be a little bit more worried for the characters. You feel yourself feeling for a lot of these characters, and kind of the struggle that they're going through in a lot of regards. And the testament to how good the tale is just the fact that I enjoyed reading. How many pages is this book? I enjoyed reading about 230-ish pages of this book, despite the fact that it could have been, if you wanted to tell this book as fast as possible, you could write it in probably 70 words or something like that. But the fact that it was able, or 70 pages, sorry. So the fact that it was able to be, spread out into about 230 pages, but nothing it feels like it was forced in or like it doesn't matter, is very good. Probably the best thing that I can say in order to recommend this is, if any of you have read Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, the very beginning of the book, and to a lesser extent, the final portion of it called Walton in Continuation, or I believe that's what it's called, but mostly the beginning of the book, like the very opener as well as the first couple letters. If you enjoyed the very opening to Frankenstein, you will probably enjoy reading this book, because the opener to Frankenstein definitely gave me heavy vibes of Endurance. Like, just in terms of having a boat stuck in ice, and characters trying to get set free, and just kind of the feeling and mood, the kind of images that are evoked in the mind about being a ship in the middle of ice, except in this case it's the Arctic, whereas in the beginning of Frankenstein it's in this book it's the Antarctic, whereas in the beginning of Frankenstein it's the Arctic. If you enjoyed the beginning of Frankenstein, I'm sure that you will enjoy this book. That's really all there is to it. So if you've read Frankenstein, which I also highly recommend, which I'll get into in just a minute or two, you'll enjoy this book. there's not really anything that I can really point to that'll say this book is good or this book is bad. There's just a lot of things about it that I enjoyed reading. I don't need to read this book again and don't think that I ever will, but it is very much worth the time. So, I mean, if you happen to have a copy of this book, or if you really enjoyed the beginning of Frankenstein, like I said, I very much recommend just giving this a shot. So, this is a little bit of a shorter review, but I did mention Frankenstein a few times in this video up to this point. So what is the day that this video is coming out? Let me double check just real quick. Yes, just what I thought. This video is coming out on April 18th, which is the third Monday of April. But this Friday, the fourth Friday of April, on April 22nd, I will have a review of Frankenstein out, actually. So if you did click on this video and you got to the point where I said if you enjoyed Frankenstein, read this. Well, I also have a review of Frankenstein coming on Friday. It's going to be a little bit of a different format, which you will see when you watch that video. So I very much hope you stick around to watch that. I mean, I know I didn't really say much to review this book. I mean, it's just a very short and simple video. I enjoyed Endurance. If you want a quick palate cleanser, that's just something different to read in between a couple big books or something like that, this book will take you maybe 5 days. If you're a slow reader, could take you less if you read really quick. Like I said, it's only like 230 pages, and there's not like an obscene amount of words on each page, but it is rather short. So if you want something to just kind of fill in a gap or to cleanse your palate, I highly recommend Endurance. So I don't really have anything else to say, at least not that I remember off the top of my head. I guarantee that when I stop recording that I'm going to remember something that I want to say about this book. But, you know, such is the life of recording videos and putting them on the internet. So, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you want to support the content. Ring the bell if you want to be notified about the Frankenstein review coming this Friday. Don't forget about that one. That's it for this video. I'll be back again on Friday with that review for Frankenstein. I'll see you next time.